Hello, my crafty friends. How are you today? I have it's a pretty quick card here for you. I love the colors of it. We're going to do a little coloring, and it's pretty simple, and I hope you like it. I'm going to show you how to make it, give you a few tips on the coloring and all the measurements for all the pieces. Here's the envelope. So this card is using the Adorable Owls stamp set. It is from the Celebration Catalog, the 2023 Spring Celebration Catalog, and it also features the paper, which is another free item. So the stamp set is free with a $50 order, and the paper is free with a $100 order. My name is Linda Edwards, and I am with Crafty Hair and Designs, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So, I can show you where to get all of those wonderful papers and stamp sets. And here are the measurements for the card that we're gonna make. So let's go ahead and get started. So the card base is Balmy Blue, and it is cut 11 by 4 1/4, and it is scored at 5 1/2. So it's gonna fit a standard A2 envelope. So I like to fold it, oops, sorry about that, and burnish it so it gets a nice crisp fold, and set that aside until we are ready to put it together. The next item is Coastal Cabana. This is cut at 5 1/4 by 4. It's a nice layer there. Here, I'll go ahead and pull that over for you so you can see how that's going to go together. And then I have a basic gray layer, and it is 4 3/4 by 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Basic white is cut at 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. This is going to go on the inside of the card. And then I have a layer for stamping and cutting. You can see I kind of have a little diagonal cut off of it so that you know that it's going to be for cutting. We made this card in my card class, and if you are in the Greensboro, Georgia area and you'd like to join us, we would love to have you. We have a lot of fun in these card classes. And then I have the Dandy Designs Designer Series paper. And of course, there are 2 sides to this paper. I just liked this one. It's 5 by 3 3/4. And then there's that's 4 1/2 by 2. And then I cut the end of this one down. This is another Dandy Designs Designer Series paper, and it's cut at 4 3/4 by 3/4. This paper is really cute. I have a little sampler, paper sampler, so you can see all the fun different colors that this paper comes in. So you could easily make this card or any other with using all of these colors. So it could be a little more feminine card. It could be purples and greens and blues, and look at that wonderful assortment of colors. These really are pretty, and they go with so many different of our stamp sets. So there you go. Those are all the different colors. And I just really liked this Coastal Cabana and Balmy Blue combination. So that's what I chose to share with you today. All right. So if you want to take a picture of this, go right ahead. I am going to have this information posted along with the video. So if you're following me, if you're seeing me on YouTube or on Facebook, it'll be on one of those. And I do have the list of the different stamp sets that I'm using. The Adorable Owl stamp set, the Dandy Designs Designer Series paper. We're going to use some Balmy Blue and white variegated ribbon and some foam adhesive sheets. I'm going to show you some things you can do with that really takes your card making up a notch. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our stamping. I think that's always a good thing to start with. We actually are doing some die cutting and stamping. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp our owl in Tuxedo Memento Black ink, and I like to get him started first so that it has time to dry a little bit before I use the blends. We are going to use the blends. They are alcohol markers, and it helps to have this Memento Black ink good and dry before we get started. So because I'm actually doing some die cutting in addition to the owl, these are the dies that I'm going to use. I want to make sure I have enough room on my paper so I know those would be the dies so I can put him over on the side here. There are 3 cute little owls that come in this set. Since I was kind of thinking of this as a birthday set, I chose the owl with the cute little little hat. The other, one of the other owls, let's see, where's my envelope? Here. Let's go ahead and get that cut as well, or stamped as well, since I've got it out. I chose one of the flying owl for this. And then there's a third one that's got a cute little bow tie, which is adorable as well. So we're gonna put that on the envelope and set that aside. Okay. So the other thing we're gonna stamp is the sentiment. So on the front of the sentiment, I have hoot hoot, you're so cute. I kind of thought about this as, you know, for a child. I thought it was really sweet, or somebody who's just fun loving and will enjoy, or maybe loves owls. Now, you know what? This does not look like it is going to stamp well. Can you see how it looks like it got a little kind of gloopy? So I'm gonna just try that just to be sure. No, it looks like it's gonna be fine, but I wanted to just make sure, clean it. I'm gonna clean it off a little bit and then start over. It's really a good habit to get into, to look at your stamp after you put the ink on it, just to make sure that it's gonna ink well. Now, when you've got a scrap paper like this, it's not as big of a deal because you're gonna, you know, if it doesn't look quite right, you can just restamp it on the other side. So as I said, I'm gonna use that die. So I just wanted to kind of eyeball that a little bit and get an idea, make sure I have enough space to go ahead and cut that out. It's also kind of nice because I don't have to worry about it being perfectly straight because I'm gonna use the die to cut it. So we are going to, let's see, let me cut this off because I am gonna color and then fussy cut him, but I need to run this through my die cutting machine so that so I can put it on the card. All right, there we go. So I'm using a little bit of tape there. Move him to the side. Let's bring the die cutting machine in and go ahead and get started. Now I could do this with my smaller machine. I just realized I just happen to have the big one here, so that's what we're gonna do. And I do like to turn the dies, those long dies. I don't want the long straight edge to be parallel with the rollers. You just get a nice clean cut if they're just a little bit offset. So go ahead, run that through, and there, that. So we've got those pieces there. And next we'll go ahead and color our little owl. So I'm going to bring in some scrap paper because the ink for the blends does go through the paper you'll see on the back. And I'll share with you all the different colors that I've used. So I'm gonna make him gray. So I'm using, this is the light smoky slate. I'm gonna start off with the light smoky slate for the face, and I am using the thinner, actually, let's go with the thicker one to start with, since it's kind of a large space. So I'm just really coloring in all in around his face. Now I'm trying not to really get too close to the black of the memento. Sometimes it'll bleed a little bit, the ink in the watercolors, or excuse me, not the watercolors, the blends. So I'm trying to kind of keep it away from the outline in case it bleeds a little bit, because it does end up working out just fine. See, it'll go closer. Okay, so there. And I am using the brush tip, and there we go. I wanted that to be light. And then I'm gonna use the dark gray. Again, this is the basic, the smoky slate, smoky slate. And I'm gonna use the darker color on the rest of his body. So his ears, but I'm just doing part of the ear. You can see there's like a little line in the ear. So I'm doing the top part of the ear in the dark, and I'll come back and shade a little bit with the lighter color. And I'm not really doing a lot of shading with him. I kind of feel like there's not a lot of space to shade, so I'm not really worrying about it. Larger images give you a little bit more place to shade, a little more room. But with this small image, I just didn't feel like it really was going to be noticeable. So, and then I am going to come back in. I'm going to use the smaller tip for these little ears and a little bit lighter. And if your hand's not too steady, I would say just go ahead and use the small tip. If you feel like you need a little more control. And then for these smaller images, I'm using, this is the Dark Mango Melody. And you can use, if you don't have the Mango Melody, because I think that one has been discontinued, you could certainly use Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, any of the yellow or orange colors would be really cute on him. And of course, you could make him a brown owl. I just thought the gray worked really well with this, with the other colors in the stamp set. So let's see, I think the Balmy Blue, I'm gonna go with, what do I have here? This is Balmy Blue. So I'm gonna do the light Balmy Blue for his eyes. And you'll see there's a little bit of a kind of a, see that little circle there? I'm gonna leave that uncolored because I want that to be like the little sparkle in his eye. And I think I'm gonna do one of the stripes on his hat. There we go, there we go. And then I'm gonna bring in, let's see, I think the mint macaron for his, so this is the dark mint macaron for his belly and his hat. So let's do the dark. And I don't have Coastal Cabana, which is the other color that is in this paper. So I'm gonna combine the dark mint macaron and Pool Party. So you can see that's with just the dark mint macaron. And now I'm gonna bring in Pool Party, and I'm gonna go over the mint macaron, and it's gonna be a lot closer to the Coastal Cabana color than either of the other two alone. And that is the coordinating color in the paper. So that's why I chose to do it that way. So you see it gives it kind of a more blue-green. So that if you don't have Coastal Cabana, because we don't carry it, you can combine those two. That was the mint macaron and the Pool Party to get really close to the Coastal Cabana. And then now I'm gonna fussy cut that. And when you're fussy cutting, I'm gonna start with some of the larger images first. And I'm not worried about getting too super close. And he's got these little, can you see like that little hair that's coming out? Or feather, I guess it would be a feather, right? It wouldn't be hair if it's an owl. I'm just kind of loosely going around it. And let me just get that out of my way so that I can really manipulate the paper. And I'll come back to some of those closer areas and cut them out. So just turn the paper. I'm leaving my scissors pretty much just stationary. And if I feel like that the paper is in the way, then I just cut that off. I know some people enjoy fussy cutting. I do not mind it. I do like having dies, it's faster, but I don't mind doing the fussy cutting. Some people just hate it. But we don't really have an option for this one. I guess if you didn't really want to fussy cut it, you could just go ahead and stamp it in the circle or make it a square, or just do a different shape. and then you wouldn't actually need to cut them out. So you can adapt the card to your skill level. You know, sometimes, you know, we've got had some injuries or disabilities, or, you know, for whatever reason, maybe that you don't have the fine motor skills to be able to do the fussy cutting. So you just make some adaptations and make the card your own. Here we go, we're almost done. So see, now I'm kind of going back to some of those smaller areas and cutting. And for me, because I'm right-handed, it's always easier for me to cut with the image to the left. If I start going the other way, it's kind of tricky because I can't, my hand is in the way. So if you're left-handed, you would of course have to adapt and do that. And here we go. There we go. Okay, get all that out of the way. And now we are ready to put the card together. And this is really just a matter of layering. But I will tell you, oh, you know what? I forgot to stamp the inside. Oh my goodness. But we're gonna wait a minute. We're gonna stamp that after I get the card assembled, and I'll show you why. So first layer is the Coastal Cabana. And again, I chose those colors because they're in the paper. I don't know that I would really normally have put those colors together, but I think they're beautiful. I really like the way they work together. I love using our Designer Series paper as a inspiration for card making, you know, as far as choosing colors. It just makes it so easy to design a card. All right, as I said, this paper is available during celebration. It is available with a $100 order, and you get 48 pieces of paper. There are 4 of each of the designs, and they're 2-sided designs. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna layer these 2. So I've got the first 2 done. Now I'm gonna bring these 2 and layer them together. And as you see, there's a little bit of an overlap there. So what I'm gonna do is turn it upside down, and now I can see where I wanna put my adhesive. I wanna keep it to the left there so that it doesn't get too messy. And I'm just kind of offsetting that a little bit. I wanted that little touch of gray to kind of coordinate with the owl, kind of ground the card. All right, and now this is where I'm gonna bring in my, my foam adhesive sheets. So these, you can use dimensionals to attach this to your paper. It's easily do that, but I find that these foam adhesive sheets really give a nice firm hand to the paper. So I'm gonna go ahead and use one of these. They're double-sided. They're basically like a large dimensional, but it is just not cut up into pieces. And it just gives a little bit of a weight and heft to the card that just takes it up another level. So think about it, consider it, and let me know if you think that's something that works for you. All right, and so now I am going to bring in these 2 pieces. Now I'm gonna only put dimensionals on the right side of this one. I'm gonna go ahead and just use regular dimensionals for this. And just 2, whoops, got an extra one there. 2 right there, and I'm gonna put a little bit of liquid adhesive on that left side so that it sticks to the card. And I'm just kind of laying that out so that I can see where I want it to go. There we go. And then this, let's see, I really just want adhesive. I want the dimensionals on the right side here. And then I can put a little bit of liquid adhesive on the left. And let's see, he's gonna go right about there. And then he's gonna be there. Now I'm gonna put him, we're gonna bring in our ribbon now. So this is a beautiful, kind of an ombre effect. It's a two-tone effect. This is the Balmy Blue and White ribbon. It's very soft. It's got this variegation in it, and it's just really beautiful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just lay this down, but first I'm gonna just go ahead and put some adhesive. Now I know my owl is gonna be in the center here, so he's gonna cover up that adhesive. So I'm gonna just kind of, let's see, lay that about like that. Now be careful, because if you know, the adhesive's gonna go through the ribbon, so you're gonna get it on your fingers. Let's see, I think I'm gonna put it up a little bit higher. I'm gonna just kind of make a little bit of an S here, like that, and then bring it back over here. Okay. And then I'll just cut the end like that, and I can always go back and cut it some more. And now I'm gonna bring in my owl. I'm gonna fill him up with dimensionals so that he covers up that ribbon. Oops, maybe a little too close to the end there. I am not going to put a dimensional on the very top of his there, but I do want to put it a little bit higher. So I would suggest either cutting one of the regular dimensionals, or maybe bring in kind of a smaller one. And his little feet will be fine. So, there we go. Oh, I just thought these little owls were so cute. And just gonna kind of put him right there in the center. Here we go. Now for the inside of the card, got that one piece of basic white still here, and another piece of Designer Series paper. So I'm gonna put that on the left. And this is why I have not stamped it yet, because I want the visual of where the Designer Series paper is going to be before I stamp. So depending on how comfortable you are with your stamping abilities, you may decide that you want to stamp first regardless, because if you get it crooked, then you're going to have to come back and turn the paper over, right? So we'll see. How good am I going to be? I'm going to test it, is what I'm going to do. So bring in my black ink. It's your day. That's what I'm saying. And you could certainly say happy birthday. You know, it could be a congratulations card. It's your day. I'm going to do first is I'm going to test my stamp. Because it's a cling stamp, I can't really see through it to make sure it's straight. I'm going to use this line on my paper, excuse me, to see, am I stamping it straight? And yes, it does look like it's going to stamp straight, consistent with what I'm seeing on the front. So check it out. My paper is straight. I'm using the grid lines and bring that in like that. Perfect. All right. And certainly if you're not comfortable with your abilities to stamp straight, I would suggest go ahead and bring in your Stamparatus. That's always a great tool to use to make sure your stamping is straight. So look at this, we're done. That was a quick and easy one for you to make today. I hope you liked what you see. If you do not have your own Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you want to purchase any of the items that I showed you today, love to be your demonstrator. You can find me at Crafty Heron Designs .stampinup.net. I'm on the socials, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest at Crafty Heron Designs. And I am here to inspire you to unleash your inner creativity. I try to get here about once a week to share a card with you, show you how to make it, maybe give you some tips for ways you can improve your own card making. And you can follow me on any of those socials and you'll get a notification that a new video has been uploaded. So thanks again for joining me today. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up or a like, and I hope to see you soon. Ta-ta for now.